All right. And so welcome back to the final NFC North predictions. We're going to go with the Detroit Lions to clean things out. So if you missed our predictions for the Packers, the Vikings, and the Bears, make sure to go out and check those episodes. You will get some spoilers as to some of those division matchups as we progress, and we will let you know who we picked for the Lions schedule in those division matchups. So Detroit, week 1 against the New Orleans Saints. I'm going to start with Pat here. Lions, week 1 matchup at home opener. Who do you like in this one?
I'm picking the Lions, plain and simple. I don't think the Saints are going to have what they need to get it done. High-powered offense of the Lions is just going to get it done, especially at home. You know, the home opener in Detroit is a special thing. So I think the Lions get it done, and, I think they maybe 28-6. Who knows?
28-6. Interesting. All right, I got a score. Mesa, I'll go to you. Do the Lions start off 1-0, or do they fall to 0-1?
I'm going to start the Lions off with a win. Fully healthy. Dan Campbell ball hasn't taken effect yet, other than whoever dropped off in training camp. I think the Saints are going to be good, but I think the Lions are going to be gooder. Yeah, not much else to add, honestly. I don't know. I feel like I keep mentioning, I think the Saints are going to be a sneaky good team, and I don't think in all of our predictions I picked them to win one of these games yet. But, one of these days they'll get a win. But for now, I'm going to go with the Lions.
All right. I'm going to go with the Saints. Continuing with the trend we've seen in these NFC North predictions, I just like New Orleans this year. I feel like week 1 evens the playing field a little bit. I think the Lions have better talent still on offense. I really like the Jordan Tyson pick by the Saints this year to pair him with Chris Olave. I think that their offense is going to be improved from what it was last year, and it was a pretty solid group overall. I think their defense is better. The Saints are younger. The Lions are heading into the season kind of, if you're a baseball fan, they're very similar to the Phillies, where they've kind of already had their chips pushed in. Their group's aging a little bit, and it's like win now or bust. So I'm going to go with the Saints to upset the Lions in Detroit to start their season and have them drop to 0-1. Week 2, the Lions then head to Buffalo on Thursday Night Football for the opening of the Buffalo Bills' brand new stadium. And I'm going to have the Bills pick up a victory here and sink the Lions to 0-2 to start. There's no shot. I don't care what the money line is, the spread, whatever. Buffalo is not losing in their first game at a new stadium. Just not happening. Detroit's not going to be the one to hand them their first loss there. I feel very confident in Buffalo. So back-to-back losses for me to start the Lions season. Mason, I'll go to you. Can the Lions upset Buffalo in Buffalo?
Yeah, I think you covered it. I just cannot sanely predict that the Bills are going to lose their first game in this stadium. I think it has the potential to be a pretty high-scoring game earlier in the season, whether it's still kind of mild in Buffalo. Two teams that definitely have some offensive firepower. Could definitely be a game to remember for the opener for the Bills in this new stadium. But I just don't see the Bills losing. I mean, I'd be pretty surprised. It wouldn't be like the craziest thing. The Lions, I think, are going to be a pretty decent team. But yeah, man, that crowd's gonna be juiced. I think the Bills they get it done.
All right, Pat, I'll go to you. Do the Bills get the sweep here?
At the end of the day, it's the Buffalo Bills. And I think the Buffalo Bills have a history of some disappointing losses when everybody thinks they're gonna win. And I think that the Lions have an equally strong history of some upset victories or some rollover victories when people think their opponents have the upper hand. So I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions getting to 2-0. As Mason said, before Dan Campbell's insane training regimen takes place, I think the Lions are going to come in fresh. They're going to come in excited. And I think, as a visiting team going to someone's first game at their brand new stadium, there's nothing you want to do more than win there. So I'm going to pick the Lions, and it might just cement another moment of Josh Allen in Buffalo being a little bit disappointing.
Seeds of dissension.
Lights are too bright.
Lights are too bright at Highmark Stadium 2.0. All right, week 3, the Lions then will host the New York Jets. Pat, I'll stick with you here. Do the Lions get the 3-0, or do the Jets play a little bit of spoiler?
As much as I on the Bears prediction episode, as much as make sure to check that out. As much as I love the Jets to play an upsetting factor, and I love Geno Smith. I have to go with the Lions here. I mean, this game has kind of steamroll written all over it, and so I think the Lions are going to cruise through this one pretty easily, score a lot of touchdowns.
All right, Mason, I'll go to you. Coming off a loss to the Bills, do they pick up a win over the Jets?
Unlikely, I think. Don't think the Jets are going to win very many games. I don't think this is going to be one of them. I'm going to go with the Lions. Not much else to add, I think.
Fair enough. Week 4, Sunday Night Football at the Carolina Panthers. I'll take this one. I have the Lions picking up a win. Mason, you alluded to it with the Saints in week 1, where you kind of like the Saints a little bit, but you always pick against them. I think I've picked against the Panthers in like all of. I had the Panthers 0-4 to start. I just don't see it with them. They're not winning against the NFC North, I guess, this season. Maybe should have recalibrated that one, but despite it being in prime time and in Carolina, I just think Detroit's going to pick up a win here. I think they're a far better team. I don't think the Panthers can match them offensively, so I'm going to go Detroit. Pat, I'll throw it over to you. Lions, you have them at 3-0. Do they stay undefeated?
As much as my I'm going against my better judgment here, I do feel uncomfortable having the Lions go 4-0 to start their season, because they're the Lions and they tend to drop one that they really need. And so I'm going to pick the Panthers to upset here. In Carolina, I think that Bryce Young tends to perform really well when he's performing up to his competition. And I think that the Panthers are going to play a little bit of spoiler here and take the Lions to 3-1 when they're 1 week out of the bye. All
right, Mason, throw it over to you. Split the tie, Lions, Panthers.
I'm going to go with the Lions as well. Not to sound like a broken record, but I feel like also whenever the Panthers come up, I just say, they were kind of mid last year and just won in a bad division. And I think that trend continues, and I don't think they're going to be that awesome unless Bryce Young just explodes for a couple games, which is probably going to happen, but I'm not going to predict it to happen, so I'm going to go with the Lions.
All right. And that's going to conclude week 4. So I had the Lions at 2-2. Mason has them at 3-1. Pat has them at 3-1. Week 5, they're on the road against the Arizona Cardinals. First time we've talked about the Cardinals, I think, this season. Mason, I'll stick with you here. Cardinals hosting the Lions in week 5.
I can't name the Cardinals quarterback, so I'm going to go with the Lions. Because if I can't name the team's quarterback, I feel like they're not going to be very good. Yeah,
so they have a great quarterback room. Jacoby Brissett, who is kind of holding out on them, is QB1 following after
NC State legend.
Jacoby holdouts. Okay.
NC State legend Jacoby Brissett.
QB2 is Gardner Minshew.
Oh,
nice.
So a lot of vibes going on there.
That's
quarterback
good vibes.
3 is Carson Beck, rookie from Miami.
Long neck back. Man, there's gonna be a camp to watch this summer.
It really
what
is.
A battle.
That's gonna be really
so
funny
yeah, that doesn't really move the needle for me, I'm not gonna lie. So I'm still gonna go with the Lions.
That is fair. All right, Pat, over to you.
I don't think I have to say much. It's the Lions, man. I also could not name the starting quarterback for the Cardinals, and it's NC State's own Jacoby Brissett, and so that's tough. I mean, it's the Cardinals, man. They might be. I said on the Bears episode, the Vikings might be the worst team in the league. The Cardinals might be worse. It's a bad team.
They're rough. They did take Jeremiah Love with the 4th overall pick, I believe it was, running back from Notre Dame. It's crazy. I just
get ready to learn handoff, buddy.
Welcome to purgatory.
That guy's going to get 1 billion touches this year and probably ruin his career.
Welcome to purgatory, Jeremiah Love.
That's rough. Could be a fantasy darling, though, so we'll see how that plays out. Week 6, the Lions have the earliest slot for a bye week. So at the bye, I have the Lions 3-2, Mason at 4-1, Pat at 4-1. Both Mason and I have them winning 3 straight. Coming out of the bye, we have 2 division matchups. So if you listen to our Packers and Viking episodes, you know who we picked here. But for reference, in week 7, we all, including Kyle here, picked the Lions to beat the Packers at home. in this matchup. Pat, who do you like here? Lions hosting Green Bay in week 7. I think this is a 4:30 game.
I am actually going to take the Packers here. I'm going to go against the crowd. I'll take the Packers. I think Dan Campbell is going to have a particularly brutal bye week in mind for the Lions, especially if, there's a few opportunities for upsets early in the schedule. If the Lions go into this bye week under 500 somehow, I think Dan Campbell's going to have something pretty nasty cooked up. So I'm going to take the Packers in this one. They're going to go on the road and get it done.
All right. And then in week 8, both Mason and I have the Lions picking up a win at home against the Vikings. So Pat, another division matchup in Detroit, Vikings-Lions.
I'm taking the Lions, man. The Vikings, like I mentioned earlier, they do not scream contender to me. I don't think they're going to be able to keep up with the offense of the Lions. And even if the defense somehow holds the Lions to just like 3 scores, I think that, the Vikings are not going to be able to make up that ground. They got to hold them to 3 field goals, maybe, to even have a chance.
All right. Then in week 9, the Detroit Lions head on the road to Miami to take on the Dolphins. We talked about the Dolphins a lot in these past 3 episodes. Hasn't been, boding well for them in those games without spoiling anything. Mason, I'll start with you here at Lions at the Dolphins. Any reason to pick Miami?
Not much, no. I'm not gonna lie. There's don't think the Dolphins are gonna be very good. Another team that I can barely name their quarterback. His name is actually slipping me right now. The guy from
Malik
Green Bay,
Willis.
I think. Yep. Just couldn't remember his name, which also not great. At least I knew he existed, but not optimal. So I'm gonna go with the Lions here to take care of business.
Pat, I'll throw it over to you. Do the Lions get the sweep here, or do you go with the Miami Dolphins in Miami?
There's not a chance in the world I'm taking the Miami Dolphins in this matchup. Lions come in, take care of business, move on to the Patriots.
All right. So heading into week 10 against New England, I have the Lions at 6-2. Pat has the Lions at 6-2. Mason has the Lions at 7-1. So we all are very high on Detroit at this point in the year. I will say both Mason and I have the Lions on 6-game win streaks. So they are heating up. So they then host the New England Patriots in Bayern Munich Stadium in Germany.
Oh.
So this is technically a home game, but it's not a home game. So, Pat, I'll start with you. In Germany, can the Lions overcome the Patriots?
This is an interesting one. Because, technically the Patriots have to fly less distance. And I'm sure that Robert Kraft has a pretty nice team plane.
I'm going to be honest, Pat. A flight from Philly to Detroit is like an hour and a half. So I would imagine the difference between Detroit to New England is probably like an hour flight. So you might have maybe like an extra 30 minutes in terms of flight time.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think that extra 30 minutes is going to give Jared Goff just that little bit more time to prepare to absolutely dominate the Patriots overseas. Drake May, as we know, not a great football player. Everybody saw it last year. We know it. He's going to get demolished. German fans are going to know it. And I think the Lions are going to take this game overseas, and they're going to go and get themselves, I don't even know a German delicacy that I can say right now. They're going to go get themselves
some sauerkraut.
There you go. After the game, I'm taking the Detroit Lions.
All right. Mason, I'll go over to you. You have the Lions winning 6 straight ball games.
Oh,
do
man.
They pick the 7?
Oh, man. Do I do it? Feels like they're due for a loss, but the Patriots, man, they stink.
Not a real team.
Oh, man. They're garbage. Hot trash. I'm going to go with the Lions. Technically a home game for them, according to what's on my screen right now. I don't know how that works. So, all Germans love Lions. So it's obviously going to be a big crowd pulling for Detroit. All Germans hate Patriots. We know that for sure. So I'm going to go with the Lions here.
All right. I'm going to go with New England. I've picked against New England. I think I had New England now 2-2 at this point. I think I had them beating the Vikings. I think the Patriots are still a playoff team at the end of the day. So they're going to win some tough games. The fact that it's in Germany removes any home field advantage. Toss-up game. I had the Lions coming off 6 in a row. They got to lose eventually. Feels like a game New England could definitely win. So I'm going to go with the Pats in Germany. Week 11, the Lions are back home, but for real this time, against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Mason, I'll start with you here. You have the Lions. 7 straight ball games. Do they get an 8th?
Nah, feels like they're due for a loss. I'm going to go with the Bucs here. I think this is a game that the Lions could easily lose if the Bucs are kind of just catching fire and their offense is firing on all cylinders. Dome game, so no real weather impacts. So the Bucs should be able to get things moving. And yeah, I mean, just based on how the schedule's playing out, Lions are simply due for a loss, so I'm going to give them 1.
Fair enough. Pat, over to you. You have the Lions winning 3 straight ball games. They're 7-2 on your prediction. Do you go with Tampa here?
I am going to go to Tampa here. We talked about it on earlier episodes. I think that Baker Mayfield just shows up and balls out when you need him. And I think that he's down to pull off a couple upset wins throughout the season. So I'm hoping he'll be rolling at this point in the season, be feeling confident. And I'm simply not going to take the Lions to win 4 straight. I'm definitely not going to take them to win 5 straight. A little spoiler for next week.
All right. I'm going to go with the Lions. I think they get a bounce back after that loss to the Patriots. They get back home, chance to settle in. I talked about the Bucs extensively, I think, in the Bears episode. They're a hot and cold team. I feel like a very similar team to the Lions. It's how many points are they going to put up, because I don't trust the defense. So I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions here. Oh, there we go. All right. Week 12 now. We all picked the Lions over the Bears. So if you were listening to the Bears episode, you know exactly what that's about. Then we go to week 13. They're on the road against the Atlanta Falcons. We're into December. Big games at play here. And I'm gonna have the Lions pick up a win over the Falcons. Does not matter, in my opinion, who's playing quarterback at this time in Atlanta. Is it Tua? Is it Michael Penix? Does not matter. I'm going to go with the Detroit Lions. Mason, I'll throw it over to you. The Lions and Falcons. Who do you like?
Yeah, I pretty much agree. We talked about it in the Bears episode. Don't think the Falcons are going to be very good. Have multiple quarterbacks who I don't think are very good. I'm going to be battling it out. Then it's going to be the battle of mid. I think the Lions just have enough to get it done against the Falcons.
All right, Pat, over to you.
I agree. I'm operating under a similar logic. I think that the Lions are the superior team. I don't have a lot of faith in the Falcons. They're one of my probably bottom 6 teams in the league this year upcoming. They might be able to pull off an upset win, but I just don't see it with the Lions this late in the year. I think that the Lions are going to handle business, and I think Dan Campbell typically handles business pretty well. So,
all right, just doing a quick record check. I have them at 9-3. Pat has them at 9-3. Mason, you have them at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 2. Whew. So big season.
Damn, I might have fucked up.
Mason's like, shit, lose.
Looking at the rest of the schedule, I'm like, damn, dude. I don't think the Lions are gonna be as good. That's crazy.
And think about what you had. Think about what you had the Packers at and the Bears at.
It's gonna be a banging division this year.
Again, yeah. I feel like it's been every single year. All right, week 14, the Lions are hosting the Tennessee Titans, year 2 of Cam Ward. And I'm going to go with the Titans in an upset in Detroit. I really like what the Titans are starting to build. I think Robert Saleh was a fantastic pick for them at head coach. It'll be interesting to see what Brian Daboll does with Cam Ward. Can he find that Daniel Jones magic that he had in New York a couple of years ago? He obviously helped Josh Allen get to where he is today. I'm interested to see how he can work with Cam Ward. I honestly think Cam Ward had a very underrated rookie year. The Titans were just god awful, and he had no help at any point. So I'm very high on Cam Ward. I think I might be a little high on the Titans. So I have an upset here in Week 14. Lions dropping this one to Tennessee. Pat, I'll go over to you. Do the Lions pick up the win over the young quarterback?
I am also actually going to go with the upset here, mostly because of Tony Pollard and Tyjae Spears. I think that that's a great running back duo that the Titans are really going to lean on. I know the Lions have good run defense, but to me, I feel like, they're bound to drop one. I have them at 9-3. They're just bound to drop one here. But looking at the Titans depth chart, did you guys know that Mitchell Trubisky is sitting there making $5.25 million this year?
I did not, but that's awesome.
I certainly did not. So I'm going to pick the Titans here. I think, it's going to be a fun one. Maybe some turnovers or something.
All right, Mason, do the Titans get a sweep on our board?
I need some history here. Can you remind me what the Lions are doing at the end of the year, please, on my schedule?
So spoiler alert, you have 3 losses coming up.
Oh,
dude, that plays in a little bit. That's crazy. I have 3 losses coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Whoo! You know what? It's Dan Campbell ball. Give me the Titans. They're hurt at this point. I like the Titans.
Oh man!
Before you even said anything, and based on how I had this record playing out, I was like, you know what? This just feels like a game that the Lions can drop. I don't care that I'm gonna lose like 4 or 5. Give me the Titans.
That's fair. All right. Week 15, we have the Lions at the Vikings. We both picked the Vikings. So, Pat, do they bounce back after a loss to the Titans? Or in Minnesota, is J.J. McCarthy and or Kyler Murray, maybe without Justin Jefferson, are the Vikings able to get a win?
There is no way the Vikings win this game, and I cannot believe that you, Mason, and Kyle all took the Vikings to win this game. But I have to respect it, I guess. But in my mind, there's no way the Lions drop this 1-9. They just score so many points, and 9 just totally does not. So, and neither does Kyler Murray, to be clear. So. I don't know if a new Call of Duty game's coming out anytime soon around this.
Oh, it'll be out by then.
This time. Maybe GTA 6. Will GTA 6 be out by this time?
Probably never coming out. This game also is a Sunday night game, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, the Lions are going
to. That was part of it. So
the Lions
is going with the Lions. Week 16, Monday Night Football. The Lions host the New York Football Giants. Could be a bounce back year in New York. This could be a big game for them to potentially get a wild card spot. Where we all have the Lions currently, they're fighting for a wild card spot. So, Pat, I'll start with you here. Do you like the Lions or the Giants on Monday night?
It's a great question. I think that I don't think that the Giants are going to be playing for anything at this point in the season other than just pride. But for some reason, this just feels like a game that the Giants win, especially on Monday night. I don't know why. I just have a feeling about them. This feels like one that the Lions drop, and then all of a sudden, like, they fall into like kind of uncertainty, and it's just like the Dan Campbell show again, where it's like, are we getting in? Are we not getting in? I think the Lions are going to drop this shocker, and it's going to be like, whoa, we got to get this ship back on track. I'm going with the Giants.
All right, Mason, over to you. You have them dropping back-to-back games at this point to the Titans and Vikings. Not household names by any means. Do they get a win here?
So I honestly have to agree with Pat a little bit. When we were eyeing up the end of this schedule, I saw the Giants and I was like, Lions could lose this game. But knowing what I predicted the rest of the schedule, I am not going to have the Lions lose 5 of their last games, barring like Jared Goff snapping his leg in half or something. I don't think that's going to happen. So we're going to play it safe. We're going to go with the Lions, taking care of business at home, prime time against the Giants.
All right. Yeah, I got the Lions. So I got the Lions. They need this game big time. I like the Lions here.
Cam will be back by that point.
What's that?
Cam Scatterby will be back by that point, probably.
Yeah.
Then he'll probably be out again.
Probably be out again for a second time. Might run into a wall. All right, week 17, Mason and I had the Bears winning in Chicago. Pat predicted a Lions win on the road. And then in week 18, Mason and I predicted the Lions losing to the Packers in Green Bay. So, Mason, you do have them dropping 4 of their last 5 to close out the season.
Dan Campbell ball.
Lions.
So Mason has them finishing at 11-6.
Man, they were what, 10-1?
They were, I mean, yeah. At one point they were pretty damn. I mean, you had them win like 7 in a row at one point. So
streaky team, the Lions.
The Detroit Lions. You have them at 11-6. I have them at 10-7. So potential wild card team there. We'll see how the rest of the NFC shakes out. Pat, this is where you have them. You have the Detroit Lions at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 wins, 5 losses. Do they get to the magic number 12, which really puts them in contention for the division title? Or do you have the Lions dropping their final game in Green Bay?
It's Green Bay. It's Lambeau. It's late in the year. The Lions are fighting for a playoff spot, for some sense of security. And who comes in and spoils it all but Jordan Love? I have the Pack winning this game at home, playing a little spoiler. I think the Lions sitting at 11-6 is like the perfect Lions uncertainty number right there. And I just think this late in the year, Packers fans are going to show up, and they're going to show up loud. And I think it might, Jared Goff's, he's played a lot under the pressure, but Lambeau Field is a different animal.
All right. So we nailed this, by the way. Lions win total over under for this year is 10.5.
Wow.
We nailed that.
Wow.
Pat and Mason at 11-6. I have them at 10-7. So that's going to complete our NFC North predictions. Pat, you're going to have to go back and fill in Packers Vikings. But this is where Mason and I have the NFC North shaking out. So I have the Bears winning the division at 12-5. I have the Green Bay Packers coming in second at 11-6. The Detroit Lions at 10-7 will finish third. And the Minnesota Vikings going 6-11. Mason also has the Chicago Bears winning the division at 12-5, with the Lions and Packers tied at 11-6 for second, and the Minnesota Vikings finishing 7-10. So you got some tight, a tight race there.
Good division here. Damn, man. Some of my other predictions are going to be looking shaky.
7-10.
And then Kyle had the Packers at 10-7, Vikings 11-6. We'll get him to fill out the others. Pat, you have the Bears at 8-9 and the Lions at 11-6. So we'll get your predictions for the other 2 teams. But that'll conclude the NFC North. So make sure to go out and check all 4 episodes on this division. And next up, we will stick to the North and start with the Baltimore Ravens. So make sure to check out that episode next week. Thanks all for listening, and have a good night.